American Girl's first collaboration with Disney was just announced today, and boy, are people in their feelings about it. We have 3 new dolls in their Swarovski crystal line, and they're available starting today. So what do I think about all of this? Well, watch the video and find out. Why American Girl is releasing anything anywhere near the wake of the Barbie movie is beyond me. I mean, nobody can stop talking about Barbie right now. And they've been releasing so many new things over the last couple of weeks, I'm actually gonna have to talk about them in multiple videos. I can't wait to talk about the Birthstone collection with y'all, but today I really wanna focus on the new Disney dolls. So these are not holiday dolls. I think we were all expecting these to be holiday themed dolls based on all of the promo leading up to this, but I don't see anything holiday related about them. And I'm actually so confused because I don't understand why they released the FAO Schwartz holiday doll in like July and then turn around in August and release this. It would have made sense to do them the other way around. So I'm not really sure why they've been released in this order, but here we are. But yeah, my FAO Schwartz holiday doll is already packed up and put away. So this is American Girl's first collaboration with Disney, which makes this release a really huge deal. And it's interesting that this is basically a collector's only release. So we're only getting 3 dolls and they are priced at $300 each. I really thought a collaboration like this would have been more suited to more of an everyday release where, you know, we could get items at a lower price point because obviously children love Disney and I feel like these pieces really aren't accessible to most children. These really are geared towards Disney adults basically. Hopefully in the future maybe we can see some outfits sold individually for maybe around the price point of like $35, $40 that people can pair with their already existing Truly Me dolls so that this is a little bit more accessible for everybody, but this definitely today is a very exclusive release. I mean, I bet all the angry moms are drafting the change.org petition as we speak. I feel like American Girl was like, these are for grown-ups, so have fun with your little illy dolls, you little crotch goblins. It's funny, I've actually already seen people on Facebook complaining and just doing long dissertations about how much they hate these dolls, they pick the wrong characters, and they're overpriced, there's not enough crystals. I mean, people are definitely out with their pitchforks already, which I guess is normal for American Girl releases, so I guess we can expect that at this point, but I'm like, dang y'all, the JPEGs didn't even finish loading before you got the pitchforks out and ran over to Facebook. But I think a lot of people are trying to complain to American Girl, and it's just like, y'all need to chill. This was obviously a very planned and targeted release with multiple people on board, so it wasn't an accident that we have these 3 characters and this price point. This is all planned out. Like, unless they've done something accidentally that's harming society, they don't really care that you're not going to get your favorite Disney princess at a cheaper price. If all of these sell out, they've accomplished their goal. So we have 3 Disney princesses in this line. We have Jasmine from Aladdin, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and Rapunzel from, I guess, Rapunzel? Or was it Tangled? Whatever. And these dolls are being produced in units of 4,000 each. So first off, I think the character choice is interesting. Like, am I out of touch, or would have like Cinderella or Snow White or even like Ariel, would those have been better choices than like Rapunzel? I mean, come on, a Halle Bailey version of Ariel would have been such a serve. So anyway, let's start with Jasmine. And I have to say, I think she's my favorite from this entire line. And it's not just because Aladdin was my favorite movie of all of these 3 movies when I was a child, but I really think this doll is quite pretty despite having this Sonali mold, which I've said before, the Sonali mold is really not my favorite mold that they make, but I do think that this doll turned out really well. If I had my pick, I think I would probably have picked Marie Grace for the face sculpt for this doll. I just think it would have suited Jasmine a little bit better, but I guess because they already picked it for Rapunzel, which we'll talk about in a second, they probably had to pick something else. I would have been kind of annoyed if they had done, like, repeated a face mold in this, so it's good that we have 3 different face sculpts for each of the dolls. And I'm so happy that she actually has a deep skin tone, and I know companies, including American Girl, have tried to be better about this stuff these days, but I have seen dolls like Jasmine be whitewashed in the past, so I'm really happy that we have a nice deep skin tone that well represents the character of Jasmine. One of the first things that I'm noticing is that her earrings are removable, which is really cool, and I can't find any information about the age range for this doll, but I'm gonna assume that these removable earrings makes it for a slightly older demographic, so you probably can't sell these to like 4 and 6 year olds because of these tiny parts that they can choke on, but But yeah, I would say these removable earrings are just like further proof that these are either for older children or, like I said, I think these are for Disney adults. The color of her outfit is really pretty. It's a beautiful shade of Tiffany blue, and I really like that they didn't put like 1,000 crystals on this. And some people don't agree with me on this. Some people think it makes the doll look cheaper to not have crystals on them, but I actually think crystals make them look a little bit cheap. So if you have it just like drowning and dripping in crystals and she's just like blinding to look at, I don't know, to me it's like kind of overboard. So I like the soft, like subtle details of like the crystals placed, you know, here and there. So I'm happy with the amount of crystals on this, but again, it is like a collaboration with Swarovski, so I think they probably could have stood to put a little bit more on there. But again, we have to pay like insane prices for these Disney licenses, so I'm sure they had to really find ways to cut corner to pay for the Disney logo on these packages. Another thing I really love about this doll, or at least her accessories, is that her necklace is made out of metal, and I've complained a million times about how American Girl uses too much plastic, but this metal necklace looks really, really good. It looks well made, and again, it's just that thing, like that extra element that adds that little bit of higher quality to the doll. And again, if you're paying $300 for it, I would expect like real metal jewelry. Really, I only have two criticisms, I think, for this doll, and one of them is that I don't like the ponytail holders they used for her. They look like something that, you know, it just looks like they were made for humans and sold at the dollar store. They need to be elevated just a little bit. I don't personally like those that much. I think they could have found something a little bit better than that. And the only other thing I can really nitpick over is I don't like this seam that runs down like the front of the shoe. But all in all, I think this outfit is really beautiful. You see it and immediately you think Jasmine, and the color looks great on this doll's skin tone. For me, this is my favorite doll out of the line. I think they did a really good job with her. I will also say that it looks like all of the boxes for these dolls are red, which I think is a misstep. I understand that they're probably trying to make all of the boxes, not only amongst this line, but the previous collector lines. There were a lot of red boxes there, like with the FAO Schwartz doll and everything. I think they are trying to standardize that, but I don't personally think that that's worth having boxes that don't match the dolls. I really do think it would have been a better choice to make the box look as best as it can with the doll itself, because a lot of people are not going to buy every single doll in this range, and I think it's more important that the doll looks good in the box, because so many people that buy collector dolls are going to leave them in the box. And again, I just think the red is really jarring with a doll like this. So, you know, if it were me, I probably would have opted for maybe like a navy blue box for like the base color, and then maybe done, I don't know, almost like a Tiffany blue to call back to the to Jasmine's outfit color. Do accents, like metallic accents in that color. And so we kind of have like a blue and teal box cover instead of red. And I probably would have lined the box with a very, very soft pastel teal, or if you maybe want to get really crazy, possibly even like a periwinkle color to kind of tie in with the color palette of the movie Aladdin overall. I'm formally trained in graphic design, by the way. It's partly what I do for a living, so that's why I'm being a total jerk about this. Before we move on to Rapunzel, I just want to remind you that subscribing to my channel and leaving a comment and hitting the like button are all great ways of supporting my channel. These things help my video reach more people, and the more people we can reach, the more time I can set aside to make more free videos like this. So I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. Okay, so anyway, up next we have Rapunzel, and I actually think she is the prettiest of the three, even though she's not my favorite. So she has a Marie Grace face sculpt and like super duper long blonde hair, of course. I mean, we would want it so long that she's stepping on it if she's going to be Rapunzel. So she's got really long hair, and it's like laced with artificial flowers, and it's very pretty and girly. And I think this actually might be probably, at least amongst children, probably the most popular one. So yeah, while I don't think that this line is targeted towards children, I do think that kids are obviously going to want this. And, you know, I think that mix of pink and purple, the super long hair, you know, I think that will make her popular. And for some reason, like, the blonde dolls always sell the best. I mean, yeah, I know, I don't like it either. But I do actually like this doll's face, even though I haven't been the biggest fan of the Marie Grace face mold in the past. And again, we have the painted on eyelashes, which y'all know I don't love. I think it's redundant and weird, but overall, the doll is super cute, and I think her face coloring is really nice. Like, her freckles look good, and that lip color is beautiful. I don't know if I've seen that lip color on American Girl dolls before. If we have, I don't think it's super common, but it's really soft and pretty, and I think it looks really, really nice on her skin tone. They've described her eyes as blue-green, but honestly, like, they look gray to me. Like, surely that's the same color that they use for all the Molly dolls. And I bet you people are probably going to have a problem with it because I think Rapunzel's eyes are green, if I recall correctly. I had to do some quick research before starting this video. But yeah, I think that it's not super accurate to the character. But, you know, for me personally, like, it's not actually that big of a deal because I couldn't imagine a better color for this doll's face. I think the gray actually looks really, really soft and pretty because she has such light and fair features. I think any, like, you know, if they had given her those like dark blue eyes or really anything other than a soft light color, I think it would have taken away from the softness of her face. So even though it's probably not totally accurate to the character, I do think that those light gray eyes look absolutely beautiful on the doll. So from an aesthetic point of view, I wouldn't change them. But I'm gonna guess the reason they're like that is probably because they had that gray color of eyes in stock and they didn't want to spend the money to produce a new eye color for this doll. Just a hunch. But the more I look at this doll, I have to say she's probably the one I like most in the face, which is really crazy because, you know, we're gonna get to a Josefina mold in a second, which I like more than the Marie Grace face sculpt, but I think this doll like really came together. I love how all of these features work together. And again, I'm going to complain about the boxes on all three of these dolls because, you know, I just feel like the red is so jarring and so many people are going to be displaying these dolls in their boxes. And that really bright red color really kind of takes away from some of the softness of a princess. So it just wouldn't have been my choice to use that color. You know, if it were me, I probably would have gone with like a very light pink box lid for this doll and used like gold foil accents. So they're like nice and metallic and shiny. Maybe like a raspberry pink for the lid, and then maybe like a super pale pink or even like a lilac for like the inside lining of the box. I think that would have softened it a lot more, and it just would have been more like an overall pretty picture to look at because again, I just think the red is too much for this doll. And also I'm aware that American Girl's like signature color is like burgundy or it's gotten more red over the years, but I understand that. But again, they've made exceptions for that in the past, and I think the Truly Me dolls actually come in like a purple box. So to me, it just, yeah, again, I don't really like the red box. I'll complain about it like 1,000 times in this video. Okay, and finally we have Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I feel like this doll is probably going to be the most popular with Disney adults, even though she's my least favorite of the three. I just think a lot of us grew up and remember Beauty and the Beast coming out, and it was, you know, it was a big deal. It was a new Disney movie, so it's a humongous event, and I think so many people have really fond memories of this doll. So I do think that this one is going to be very popular. And I do think, like, if I had to guess, they probably prototyped this doll with the classic face mold, and I just have a hunch. Again, I have no idea, but the classic mold gets used a lot, and it's obviously the first like original sculpt that Pleasant Company ever used. So it's very likely that they go to that sculpt often. I mean, obviously they made Courtney with it, and Courtney, you know, they wanted to be a slam dunk. So I would imagine they probably tried this with the classic mold, but I'm really happy they went with a Josefina because I just think as far as like the new versions of these sculpts go, I think the Josefina face sculpt is just naturally prettier than the classic mold. It's just my opinion. But really the only thing I don't love as much about the doll herself is I wish they had gone with the pinwheel eyes. And again, it's probably personal preference, but I'm not really a big fan of the decal eyes, which is crazy because, you know, the original Samantha had decal eyes. And again, I don't hate them, but I just think the pinwheel eyes, just by the nature of how they're made, have a much deeper, more, not super realistic uncanny valley, but they just have a deeper look to them that I think just gives the doll a more expensive look. I don't personally think the decal eyes look as expensive as the pinwheel eyes. So especially with a collector doll, I probably would have gone with pinwheel in this case. And again, still green. I think they make green pinwheel eyes. I'm just not sure why they didn't choose those. Again, I probably have the least to say about this doll, and it's not because I don't like her. It's just, I'm not a princess person. I follow all this stuff and it's very interesting to me and I love dolls, but even as a kid, I wasn't just like enamored with princesses and stuff. So, you know, this line doesn't personally with me resonate a whole lot. So I obviously am not going to be buying any of these, but I do think that they did a really good job on a lot of aspects on these dolls. So I wanted to talk about them today. And I know a lot of you are thinking about getting them. One thing I really do love about the Belle doll is I think they did a brilliant job with her hairstyle. You know, I think they have to think about these things. Every decision you make when you're manufacturing a doll costs money. So every little piece of hair that they have to pull back and tie up and have extra hair ties, that's all time that goes into the production of these things. So, you know, I think that they did a really good job making a pretty hairstyle that looks like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, I just think it looks really great and her face looks nice. The doll herself, I do think looks really great, even though I'm not a fan of the color yellow. I would say my favorite part about her outfit really is what they did with the crown. It looks so beautiful. It has really intricate details on it. It looks well made. I think it's made out of metal. And again, that rose is so, so pretty. I mean, this looks like it has like a vintage feel to it, which I really, really love. This is like by far my favorite part of this outfit. That crown is so, so pretty. So again, onto the boxes. This is probably the only doll where I feel like the red box is acceptable because we have those red roses on the outfit and it kind of ties in. And I certainly wouldn't put like a big yellow box on this doll that already has a gigantic like solid yellow dress on. So I do feel like the red box is acceptable in this case. I probably would have gone for like maybe a warmer, more like poppy red that has like a little bit more of an orange undertone to it, or like a yellow undertone. Because this one looks like it's more like of a blue red. And again, I just think it tying in with the dress would make this be a lot more cohesive. And again, I think the silver looks terrible with like the yellow and red. I wish they had gone with gold on this. It just would have looked a little bit more regal in my opinion. But yeah, the champagne color that they lined the inside of the box with, I think looks great. So yeah, I expect these dolls to sell out faster than the FAO Schwartz doll did for a couple of reasons. One, these aren't really holiday themed, so people aren't thinking like, why am I buying a holiday doll in August? And also they have the Disney frenzy behind them, which is like a worldwide craze. So I really do think that these will probably sell out faster than the FAO Schwartz doll. I think if they're around, you know, weeks and weeks from now, I would start to question if American Girl is struggling selling a lot of these things, you know, and struggling overall. But I really, if I had to guess, I would say these will probably sell out. So how do I actually feel about these dolls? Yeah, that's kind of tough to say. I really do feel like American Girl has become laser focused on their profits more than anything else. And, you know, they're a giant corporation, or at least they're backed by a giant corporation, which is to be expected. You know, they're a subsidiary of Mattel, and, you know, Mattel is a publicly traded company. So those share prices are going to be the most important thing to keep their shareholders happy. And I don't want to get into a huge dissertation about how we're all suffering the effects of late stage capitalism, but I really do feel like Mattel has slowly begun to like wash away all of what really made Pleasant Company a truly special company to begin with. Like the historical line is clearly their lowest priority now. It's like when you look at the list of dolls on the website, it's like the last of the 18-inch dolls behind like Girl of the Year and the Truly Me dolls. And you know, poor Claudie just now finally got some historically accurate outfits after like a year of fans begging for more for Claudie. And while I know Pleasant Company was a multi-million-dollar company and profits were important, I just felt like they were meant to be the antithesis of Barbie and other brands like that, and I would lump Disney in that category. So yeah, I just can't help but feel like this is another step towards the direction of basically the Barbification of American Girl. So are these new Disney dolls gorgeous? Yes, of course. And do I think you should buy them? Absolutely, yes. If you love them and you have the money to spend on them, of course you should buy them. Support American Girl. We love American Girl. And I think it's really fun to have these healthy discussions about the direction that a company is taking a brand. And you know, I just am very fascinated by all the changes that happen. Even if I don't like all of these changes, it's very interesting to watch a brand develop over the decades. But anyway, I am dying to know what y'all think about this release. I think it has been controversial for a number of different reasons, and I really want to know your opinion on everything. Like, which princesses do you wish were in this line? I bet you just about everybody has their own wish list of their top 3 princesses they would have picked, and it wasn't these 3 that were released. So I really want to know which ones were missing from the line that you wish were there. And I also want to know if you think these dolls are too expensive. Again, I know they're trying to reach like a bigger collector market and really try and wedge themselves maybe more in the market that Barbie is in, especially because we have this movie out and like the adult collector sphere for Barbie has gotten so much bigger in the last couple of months. I think Mattel has realized that, and they're probably trying to sort of wedge American Girl into the same market again, because apparently we have like a big screen movie coming out in the American Girl franchise in the next few years that Mattel hinted at that they're working on. So they're probably trying to again, Barbify American Girl a little bit. So I'm curious to know if you think that $300 is too much for an American Girl doll. And you know, I personally like the concept of creating dolls in a higher price point as long as we have the stuff that's a little bit more cheaper, so it's still accessible to, you know, middle-class children at least. So you know, I am very curious to have conversations like this because, you know, it just brings up a lot of questions, and I really do want to know what all of you think about all of this. And also, if you're going to get one, I want to know which one you're going to get. If you've made it this far into the video and you're not subscribed to my channel already, What are you waiting for? You know this is the coolest place on the internet for dolls, right? Before I head out, don't forget to check my Patreon out at patreon.com/idreamofjohnny. There are hours and hours of more videos there that you can't watch anywhere else. I just started a series there called Doll Diaries, which is all of the juicy gossip and unboxings and all of the stuff that's basically not appropriate for YouTube. We're doing all that over there, and it's been really, really fun. And also, everything there is uncensored, so if you like hearing me say filthy words like f***, dick, and my maybe you'd like to join me there. It's only $3, but it goes a really long way to help support my channel, and I really, really appreciate every single person that's there. So check it out. If you're like everybody else and glued to social media, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at idreamofjohnny. If you want to keep hanging out with me, why don't you watch this video right here? See how I did that with the magic of YouTube? All right, that's it for today, but this was really fun, so let's do it again soon. Bye now.